to the Survival Guide to Lent. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. The weather has been very spring like, and I think that's pretty great. Um, Today, we're going to be adding another item to our backpack. So far, we have added our water bottle, some form of shade. We have our coat. We have our sunscreen, I believe. Yes. And we have some food, our energy bar. So today we are going to be adding an item that if a lot of people had this item, they probably wouldn't end up stuck out in the desert, I'm guessing. But um, this item is a compass. And this is my compass app, okay? And my app tells me that I have it pointed basically due south, 180 degrees, which means that way is south. Behind me is north, east, and west. If I didn't have this, I mean, odds are if you're in the desert, you're probably not going to have a cell phone signal, I'm guessing. So you would actually need a hardcore compass. Having said that, I do have one. It just happens to not be here where I'm at. So make sure you pack that in your backpack, because if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know when you get there, right? I have some quotes that I want to share with you that I think will sort of illuminate this item for you. The first one is from Ralph. From Ralph. First one is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Yes, there we go. Life is a journey. Do you know the end of this one? Not a destination. I'm not sure I agree with Ralph, because while I do agree that we are journeying through life, I do believe that you do have destinations at times in your life. Like getting ready to have a child, for instance. That's a journey, but that's a journey in kind of a different way. Sorry, just don't mean to wiggle the camera. Sorry about that. And you know when you get there because you have your child, right? You go through the process of childbirth. Um, so Ralph's right and he's not right. It's not about the destination, okay? Ultimately, it's enjoy the journey is really what he's trying to say. But I think there's more to it than that. It's a little complicated. Let's look at this next quote. The journey of a no, I'm sorry, that's not it. I am learning to trust the journey even when I do not understand it. And this is by someone named Mila Braun. Now, having said that, I have investigated trying to find out who Mila Braun is. I cannot find anything about them. I don't know if this person is male or female. I do not know if they're non-binary. I have no idea who Mila Braun is, if this is a made-up person. If you know anything about Mila Braun, please let me know. As far as that quote goes, it's a really great quote. I'm learning to trust the journey even when I don't understand it. There's things that happen along the road of our life, aren't there, that we really are thinking there cannot be a good lesson in this. This is just too harsh or too hard, or I can't understand why I'm going through all these trials right now. And looking back at my own life, for instance, I can tell you in certain circumstances where I thought, how can this possibly be any good? And I look back at it 10 years later, I go, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Even though it was a trial at the time, you can learn a lot from those trials, and they can bring you things, really big blessings in your life. Okay, now here's a third quote. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's by Lao Tzu. Okay, this is true. However, on the journey that we call life, or in our faith journey, however you want to slice or dice that, um, it does begin with a single step. In other words, you have to begin the journey. But what happens after you take that single step, that first step? Wow, that can lead you in a myriad of directions. You might stay on the ground, you might not stay on the ground. You might turn to the right, you might turn left, you might go straight ahead. How do you know? How do you know? Um, so if you combine all of these quotes together, you'll find that they all have wisdom that sort of leads us to one conclusion, in that you have to be prepared for life's journeys and you have to be willing to be flexible. Flexibility is something that has really kind of gone away right now during COVID. And we don't have the flexibility that we once had. Like if you wanted to stop off and see a friend, it's harder to do that now. And you don't want to put people potentially at risk. Or if you forgot your mask, or, if they don't want company, whatever that might be. It used to be so easy. Just stop by, see a friend, say hi, have a chat for a few minutes, and then off you go. And it's just not that simple anymore. Um, we need a guide along our way, along our journey. And that guide has to be someone who can help us to learn to be flexible and to learn that the things that happen to us that might not be what we want are not necessarily bad things. It's it's part of that journey, part of what leads us to where we need to go. Okay, so I have just a short story I want to tell you from my own personal experience about this. When you're having a really stressful time traveling, you can't relax. You can't, even if you're on vacation. We had this experience when we were in Paris. As we were leaving Paris, my husband and my son and my daughter and we had split up into two groups. They went over to see Napoleon's tomb and the musée, the armory. Anyway, and then Jane and I wanted to go and walk along the Champs Elysees and see all the fancy shops and go to lunch and things like that. And she wanted to buy a dress in Paris. So we split up and we said it was our night to check out of the hotel and we had to meet back at the hotel and then get a cab and go to the train station to go to London. So it was kind of a little bit of a tight schedule, but we made it work. Well, they were late and really late, and it was time. We needed to get to that train station. The cab was waiting. We just didn't know what to do, and pretty soon, um, we get a phone call saying we I had my wallet stolen. We don't have our tickets to get back to the hotel, and so I think they were walking. We weren't that far from where they were, but time was of the essence here. So we got everything in the car. We got the while we were waiting for them, and everything was hustle bustle, hustle bustle. And we get to the train station, and it's a long line, just what we didn't need. We get through that. We get down on the train, and there's bomb sniffing dogs and guys with machine guns. And we were like, what is happening? Apparently, this is normal. But we didn't know that. And we got on the train. We're going to go through the channel. And we got on the train. We were still just like really keyed up because there was just so much, our money had been stolen. We were late. All of that. When we got to London, we were just able to relax because we were at our destination. All the stuff that had happened before really didn't matter at that point. We were able to relax and enjoy because we knew we were where we were supposed to be, right? And if you don't know your destination, if you don't know where you're going, then how do you suppose you're going to get there? When do you know that you've arrived at your destination? So we need to know where we're headed, and that's why we need the compass. I hope that you will think about. Oh, I was going to tell you one last thing. If you don't have a compass, you can um, navigate using an analog watch. So if you wear an analog watch, not digital numbers, but with the hands on it, or you can navigate at night by finding the North Star. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about what that looks like. So the North Star can change directions. Like I'm going to just not the North Star, I mean the Big Dipper. So that's how you find the North Star. So let's imagine you see the Big Dipper. Okay. You take the two last stars on the bottom of the dipper and you go straight out from those two stars, and that is the North Star. It's not direction depending on where you are and what time of year it is. So just know. So anyway, I went long today. Sorry about that. I hope everybody's doing well. Take care, and I will see you on Thursday. Have a good evening. Okay, now let's see if I can get this. Ooh.